You've just joined us. We've been scrutinizing the intervention of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, in addressing the plight of the internally displaced persons in the country. And our guests have been the Director General of NEMA, Mr. Mustafa Mihaja. Join us again. Recently, you had a meeting with women journalists on disaster management. What was this all about?
Well, partners in a democratic setting for enlightenment, education are journalists. And disaster management requires public enlightenment, awareness. So the relationship must be cordial, must be very good. And in our effort to promote the relationship, or rather in their effort to promote the relationship, they paid a courtesy visit to us. And you know, we are also coordinating humanitarian responses in the country. And more vulnerable people are the women and children.
You just raised some very valid but disturbing points now, that the most vulnerable are the women and children. So how is NEMA dealing with this high level of vulnerability?
Well, we have agenda arms of the agency. They are well trained to handle that. We have other international partners along that line. So we coordinate the activities of all international donor agencies, national stakeholders in this regard. That takes us to the situation in the IDP camps now. The stories we keep hearing are not something cheering to write home about. We've had situations of journalists being barred from inspecting the IDP camps. We've also had, the most worrisome is the fact that we've had reports of donations coming in internationally, locally, but yet the situation in the IDP camps still leaves a lot of reason to worry about. Good to hear that you call it stories. I think you need to see the facts. There are stories and they need to be verified. We never restrict journalists from accessing the IDPs. We never do that. Any activity we do, we go with the journalists.
But there have been outcry of malnutrition from the IDP camps. So why we have, is it that the relief materials are not getting to the IDPs?
We have UNICEF as international partners. We have Ministry of Health. We have Ministry of Agriculture.
And we understand that countries have been donating. Saudi Arabia, China, donating hundreds of thousands of bags of rice and other food items.
In the food basket, all those factors are taken into consideration. Protein, carbohydrates, and all other ingredients are being put into consideration.
But the fact of the report is that there have been strong allegations of diversion of food items and other relief materials that are meant to get to the IDPs. So what's the status of this report?
Since I came, there had never any report of diversion. Since I came, all those areas we worked, there had never any report of diversion. So
how can you, since these reports are coming in from the IDP camps and we don't even know what to believe, is it possible to have a kind of transparent and public inspection of the IDP camps?
We challenge anyone to go. We challenge anyone to go and check. If they want to go with us, we are ready to go with them. We believe,
because there is this alarming report. People are saying that in the previous administration, that Boko Haram consumed the administration. That this particular administration, the plight of IDPs and the politicization of IDPs might consume this administration.
I have never heard or seen anywhere IDPs have been politicized.
What strategy are you coming up with to reintegrate these people with their loved ones?
Well, coming back to the issue of politicizing, I want you to note that distributions in the IDP camps by NEMA is done door to door and in the presence of all. There is monitoring team, international body are co-opted into the monitoring aspect. So always get baffled when I'm surprised when I hear that there are diversions.
With the situation now, many of these IDPs, from what they've been through, they must have been disillusioned and they faced a bitter reality. So what are you doing to provide them with the necessary psychosocial support?
You know, one of the other things I think I need to remind the viewers is this is an emergency situation. This is a camp. The government will so wish to have everybody back to his home, an established house. But this is a camp. The government is providing succor, assistance, relief. It's not to say that it's a perfect situation. It's an emergency situation. So we must put this at the back of our mind.
What are the major challenges you have managing the IDPs?
Well, the major challenges is you have so many of them returning back on their own. You didn't plan for it. You didn't compute it to include that. Of course, you have some contingencies. So you, as an emergency officer, or rather chief executive, we have to quickly also to provide for those that were not planned for. This is the emergency aspect of it. These are the part of the challenges we have.
There have been an alarming report on potential security threats in the IDP camps. We've had reports of even aliens infiltrating the IDP camps.
This is security.
So how are you coping
this
with
is security-related matter. I think the security people there are in a better position to respond on that.
So, but you don't think that this would affect your operations in any way?
Of course, when there is security threat, it's difficult to operate, but we have to work. And the security agencies are doing all they could 24/7 to make sure that they secure the place we are working.
Now, because a lot of things goes into this, like the budget you've mentioned now. So to get a proper data analysis and data bank for these IDPs, isn't it important to do a thorough profiling of these IDPs? We
have data as related to all what we are doing. What I am telling you is the issue of insurgency in the northeast is really catastrophic. You will plan other incidences, like for example those that are already in Cameroon, when they observe that the environment is secure, they started coming in numbers. This is the kind of unexpected influx of people that I'm talking about. That's a challenge to us.
As of last year, Nigeria has the second highest number of IDPs in the world, with about 2.2 million IDPs. So what's the current situation now?
Well, the current situation keeps on changing because some of them, with the help of federal government, the state government that is involved, particularly Borno and Yobe, Adama, the IDPs move to communities that are safer. Like in the case of Yobe, in the northern part of Yobe, they have moved into the local government. Two local governments were occupied by Boko Haram. Now they are liberated. The people that are scattered all over the country has moved back to their communities, and so as many of such cases are in Borno and Adamawa. So that reduces the number from 2.2 to around 2.75 or so million. I mean 1.75 million, yes.
Yeah, before we wind down this conversation, we'll come back to the challenge of climate change. It seems you're sitting on a hot seat where the entire emergency, unforeseen circumstance of climate change is resting on your shoulder. So how positioned is NEMA to tackle this unforeseen circumstance?
We are working together. They give us the correct information. We work on it and prepare with them. So it's a normal routine job for us.
Yeah, as the coordinating agencies now, it seems there are a lot of gray areas. We've seen a lot of interventions. We've seen the presidential initiative for Northeast, the PCNI, the Presidential Committee for Northeast Initiative. We've also seen the Victim Support Funds and so many other agencies coming. So what really are the statutory roles of these agencies? Do you find it complementary that they are performing this role when NEMA is expected to be the coordinating agency for this disaster management?
Well, their roles are really complementary. The case of PCNI, they came about after Pine, when the crisis, humanitarian crisis in the Northeast became so huge, there's need for like ad hoc arrangement. The government pull out resources all over so that we can direct to really reduce the danger of the humanitarian crisis. That is what I mean, not PCNI's resources.
The Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, Mr. Mustafa Mehaja, thank you so much for making our time to be part of this episode of Question Time, and also the insights on the world of the IDPs and your intervention on the plight of the returnees from Libya. Thank you very much indeed.
It's my pleasure. You are welcome.
And that's it on this episode of Question Time from Channels Television. Now, what do you make of the surging number of IDPs in the country? Send us your comments on our social media platforms showing on your screen. Why not join us next week for a fresh episode of the show? Many thanks for watching. I'm Benga Ashiru. Bye for now.